Aloha kakayaka means good morning to you on this beautiful Aloha Monday, Meditation Monday. And you know, used to have theme back in the days in the Orange Building where I would say this and this, like Meditation Monday. Tuesday is a certain day that we do things. And the thing is that we embrace each day. And I love to start off Monday where I really center myself, because Sunday is a day to kind of prep yourself to let what at least your schedule, your journey is going to be. Of course, things happen, but at least you have a course of action instead of just sitting around and lounging around and doing things, because each moment, each breath, each vibration that we have out there is something that we can learn and listen, and most of all use our senses. And so part of that comes from being aware, self-awareness, which you take the time to find out the inner you. The inner you, and seek out the beauty that you have way deep inside. You know, I just had a wonderful, wonderful 4th of July Day of Independence conference. And, you know, people that was on that call was very extraordinary people that took me around the world and seen each and every one's independence, their gift, their love, their passion, literally for really the health and well-being of life. And before, we were just talking, that subject got kind of shunned off, and it was more about the explosion of the internet. And all of a sudden, these people became the master of whatever, from Yelp to Google to this to that. You see more likes on food besides dogs, or, and it's funny because it gives us a great awareness, but it also, we need to use this platform, as we all talked about, is about living what kind of life? A good life. Because we've already experienced that anybody is the victim. And I hate to use the word death, because in 2020, look what happened. Look what happened, right? And so a lot of us, life literally just stopped. And now, you look out, and this past weekend was 4th of July, our independence. And each and every one of us have this. And so we need to just shine that inside of us so we can feel that much more independently of what we stand and what we feel and how we're going to take care of ourselves. Because we were all so vulnerable, right? And so this corona or COVID-19, and now it's called another new virus, Delta virus, and the next one is the next one and the next one. And it's going to be endless. They went from A, B, C, D, right? C to D. Then who knows? And so in order for us to keep ourselves healthy, is really what I do is yogatation, yoga and meditation, and really enjoying life from the ground up. Everything that you can feel the earth, because literally, that's Mother Earth teaching you. You watch the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. And that's why these rhymes we still remember, because they still have meaning in our life. And so July is summer. Sun is out and the weather is funky. You know, I got rain and shine and mudslide, and you know, that's what July is gonna happen, like I mentioned in my first video. And so, you know, it gets kind of real when you start seeing all of these things happening, because it is the truth. History is the truth. And so history don't lie. People do. People of unknown make up these stories and act like they know everything. It's like, who are you? You wasn't there, and you're making up these stories. And that's the cause of, now we have this huge divide of media, you know, beliefs. Some believe, some don't. Some say it's just a corporate entity just running and governed by, you know, control. And so, like I said, that's going to be part of what's happening with these changes, because it's really the people are now having their voice heard, because thank God for these things called technology, because then we create our own new frequency, our new vibes of information, our truth of what we know. Because you can be sitting in a room and some explosion happen and you get explosion of many different point of view of what happened. You know, nobody really knows what really happened in 9/11, right? And so that's what happened. So we're in this transition, in this aftermath, because there's always something happens to create a new chapter, a new life, a new going forward. And so July is the month that you're going to see these changes, whether you see it in different businesses, restaurants, everyday life, because all of these systems are really going to start to affect, whether it's agriculture, the food that we're going to start seeing in the supermarket, in the restaurants, you know, at the grocery stores, at the farmers market, etc., 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 because of these changes. You know, a lot happened in the 1930s when all of this kind of really erupted. Chemicals, things that, you know, can kill people, like what happened in the war. And so, you know, it's funny because my mom, on the other side of the world, where she was only 3 years old, and when that bomb, World War II, hit her, she got affected. It affected millions of people living in Japan. And so, you know, listening to these stories from my mom firsthand, how she suffered, how I lost my grandma, but I know she's present. I can feel her energy. She was a very beautiful, smart lady. And so my mom was literally brought up by her grandma, which is my great-grandmother. So it's really deep-rooted, old school, because when you know that tsukemono is more important than anything else that she runs with in case there's a fire, that's how important this nukamiso is, because she's been doing it for 50-something years. And so, you know, her tsukemono, it cannot outbeat anybody's tsukemono. That nukamiso is like bomb, because money cannot buy that aji, the shita aji, the umami aji now they call it, but it's really the shita aji, the taste from underneath, the roots where it came from. Shita aji. In Japanese, how they cook, shita aji garu ne tte. I love watching the Japanese and how they cook and how they do their TV program and all that. They're just, you know, because that's part of my DNA, that's part of my culture, that's part of my heritage, and that's part of me that I embrace, you know. My grandfather was an awesome cook, you know, because before Kaimana Hotel used to be Kaimana Hotel, that used to be his house, and he would call people, business people from Japan, and he'll cook for them, and he was very well known to do the fugu fish, because unless you're licensed, you can kill somebody, but he knew how to do it, you know, and he will cook. He loves to cook. And so a lot of these things, and that's how he entertained people, and that's how he conducted his business. You know, and my grandmother just on the side, you know, whoo, Akino, she was one believable lady. I mean, back to back to back. She had kids, and she went through the war. You know, I give that lady 1,000,000,000% credit, my grandmother. I mean, I don't know how she did it, but she did it. And that's old school. Really old school, real good roots of how we need to appreciate. And that's what this end of this 6 months that we're going to go into, because last year we couldn't celebrate, right? A lot of these family gatherings. And start to plan now. And just don't go, okay, hi, ba-da-da-da-da. Start reacquainting yourself to your roots, because your roots are really, like I said, it's July, Cancer, right? So it's like the hermit always has his home on his back. So make sure you always have family on your back to provide you with love, comfort, and support, because it is a new way. Everybody is. I don't care what anybody say, but it's all a new world that's going to happen. Like, look at me. Look how long I have to wait for my Cocojor shampoo, even though I made it a decade ago. But they're going through all the formalities of it being tested, retested, this and that. Is because, you know, they take pride, I take pride, and they know how I am to make it right. If you're gonna, you can be 99% wrong, right, excuse me, but you're 100% wrong, right? And so that's why, you know, from the other side of the spectrum, you see so many things that's happening so quickly, and that's the phase it's going to be. Boom, boom, boom. People's going to make this, people's going to make that. But did they put any thought process into it? Have been tested on these things? It's all about the Benjamin. And so, really, going back to the old school, like my mom and her tsukemono, her pickles, it's over 50-something years old, because she took the time to just let it go and let it do its process. So you can come out with a good quality of life. And so, you know, for me is, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I need to hurry up and do this, hurry up and do that. I mean, right now, my construction, I'm fixing my place, and, you know, I'm waiting for them. But this is life in Hawaii, because we're so short-handed with labor. Or we do, and I already went through I've already went through, you know, hiring people without reference, and I end up, look at my kitchen. Look at my, you know, I can point out, but I just laugh about it, you know. I can't believe my kitchen. That was the biggest mistake I did. But I learned from it, and I somehow say, you know what? It's functioning, it's working, just deal with it. And I make my, you know, and I just deal with it because what I put in the inside of creating with all of my love, my passion, comes out, you know, food for the soul. And so, Lily, it's not all of this. You work hard, you believe in faith, and you believe in yourself that things will come around. So just believe in the process, because sometimes when we push too much, like, you know, like today I was talking to the contractor and I was like, you're scaring me. I was like in bare tears, like Lily, tears were like running, and he's like, I'm like, you're scaring me. What's going on? How come you haven't come? You know, and I'm like, you know, getting scared because how many times that happened to me? Countless. And so I go back in my negative memory box and start freaking out because of my cheetah monkey mind. And then he's like, huh? And I'm like, oh, you scared me. I'm crying and I'm getting scared. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm having another problem when I come see you. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? You know, and I could hear it in his voice that, you know, I thought it was me or something I did, or I was going to get my thing, you know, and I was like, I don't know what I was thinking. But that's when I was able to like step back, breathe, let it go, let it go, let it go. Center myself, and I stopped chitter-chatting, and my emotions going wild. I stopped and I breathed, and I heard on the other line his tone of voice, his like, oh, what's going on? He goes, okay, I'll just come by. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Are you okay? And he started explaining what's going on, and I was like, oh, yeah, well, let's come on over. Let's calm the monkey mind, the cheetah mind, and let's have an understanding of, you know, because there's a lot of things that's connected. And so sometimes we're in our own world and we only think about ourselves, which is great, but sometimes we need to step back, center ourselves, like I call it the vac. Use your vacuum cleaner, center yourself, step back, relax, and let the thought process of listening in silent start working for you. You realize silent and listen, they use the same alphabet. And so sometimes when we need to do that, that's when we have to control our mindset. And so believe me, I've gone through so many like, but then I use these tools, you know, before I go to have a conference, have a meeting, have things that's like one-on-one calls like this, you know, or having a talk with your loved ones, a relationship problems, all these things that's part of life. If we go off every single time, because believe me, I'm a victim of that before, I would be like, boom, the titter out will come out and no stop. It was so funny. This one person said, oh my God, you had the hard head of a Japanese bobara and you're from Hawaii with that tira power. Woo, when you go off, you better watch out for that flame. And I was like, okay, I guess so. And so, you know, that's when you need to take that flame and you have that control button right here. And so it's literally reprogramming yourself. It's not saying change. Believe me, when I need to bring that money cup fire out, it will come out. So you better step back, watch out, because, you know, But anyways, but I try not to go there anymore because we have to keep our flame centered, you know, it's centered within ourselves. And then so whenever things happens, we can control the fire within us, you know, and that's how we can change our feelings, our emotions, our thought frame, our mindset. And so I can go on and on and on and on, and hopefully my website will be up soon, and it will be, I promise you. July is a day to start a new chapter. Maybe it was all meant to be, right? So believe in the process. And so other than that, I love to talk. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Cocojor channel on YouTube. I'll post it down here or up here or somewhere. But don't forget to subscribe because I love to speak about life. Giving hints, giving tips, and hopefully I can mesh together all of my favorite cooking and put recipes up, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So I look forward to you and finishing up my Cocojor sanctuary so everyone can have fun and enjoy, and a little step back and enjoy Miss Monica over here. So have a wonderful week. Happy 4th of July. And now it's time to go Imua forward. So you take care, and most of all, aloha.